This is the morning. It's still the morning. It's quarter to 11 on the 6th of November. I've been doing a fair amount of digging, and I've come up with a couple of interesting clips. I'll attach both links in the body. I went ahead and I wanted to determine or learn if the DC-10 is pretty much identical to the DC-11. Now, the DC-10 is an aircraft that I did videos on. It crashed on May the 25th in 1979 in Chicago. 273 people died. And what they found was that the mechanics short-circuited the procedure to remove the engines. They simply took a forklift, lowered it onto a forklift. These are 13,000-pound engines. And then when they had to replace the engine after they rebuilt or did whatever they did to the engine, it had to get into a very narrow pylon slot. And what they found was that the pylon on that particular airplane had let go, which is why that engine fell off as they were rotating. The engine fell off. What do we find on this DC-11? That engine fell off as well. So I went ahead and I did some searching. I want you to listen to this. Are the MD-11 engine pylons similar to an MD-10 pylon? Yes, the MD-11 engine pylons are similar to the DC-10 MD-10 pylons because the MD-10 is a DC-10 with an MD-11 style cockpit upgrade. And the MD-11 itself was developed as a refinement of the existing DC-10 airframe. So what you've got is you've got the exact same pylons. Same pylons. So what has to be looked at is when this aircraft was in maintenance, was that left engine removed? Now, I recall the video that I did on the DC-10 crash. The FAA put a hold and grounded all the planes, all the 10s. And guess what they found? They found a number of them with cracked pylons. Huh? In other words, it's quite likely this would have happened again if the FAA hadn't done what they did. Now, the same thing applies with these DC-11s. They all need to be grounded. And those pylons need to be checked for cracks. I'm willing to bet some of them are cracked. Now, we know the engine was laying on the tarmac or the runway of the one in Louisville. They'll be able to determine why it fell off. This is really scary, folks. And if the FAA doesn't ground all of these airplanes, they didn't ground the Boeing that need to be grounded. We still don't know what happened to Flight 171, AI Flight 171. We don't know definitively. I believe I nailed it the first day. It had an electrical phenomenal short, which shut off both engines. Let me know what you think. The pylon structure, the fundamental design and mounting points of the engine pylons, both under the wings and straight through the tail mount, are essentially the same between aircraft models, allowing for engine commonality and easier maintenance. Engine options. The MD-11 introduced newer, more efficient engine options. General Electric CF80C2 or Pratt & Whitney PW446062 compared to the earlier DC-10 engines, but the Pylon design was adaptable to these new engines without a complete redesign of the wing structure. Couldn't be more obvious. The high degree of commonality, including the Pylon architecture, allowed operators like FedEx Express to upgrade their DC-10s to the MD-10 configuration and use a common Pylon pool, both the MD-10 and the MD-11 fleets. In essence, the MD-10 conversion program specifically aimed to modernize the DC-10 with the MD-11 systems, capitalizing on the shared structure elements like the engine pylons. Got a question. Who does things like this for you like I do? Who goes digging deep to try to find the common problem and the common cause? Nobody. That's who. I'll attach the links, both links. You can take a look at it. The other link talks about the accident in Chicago on May the 25th, where 273 people watched themselves about to crash on television. They had the takeoff televised. All those people are staring at that TV monitor as the plane augers into the ground. Folks, if the FAA doesn't ground all these planes, this could very easily happen again. Send a copy of this clip to your worthless representatives. Pass it along, and thanks for listening.